afternoon, Daniel. Welcome to the No Rest for the Vivid podcast.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I've just been going all funny. I actually feel nervous about this one because you've been on my wish list for a while, and so now I feel like a complete knob. But I'll settle down in a minute.
Pressure's on.
The pressure is on. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. For people that don't know you and don't follow you, who are you and what do you do?
I am Daniel Bland of Bland Design. It's on my socials. I'm an artist and specialist decorator is kind of the umbrella term I give myself because I do a lot of, well, ridiculous decorating, mural painting, gold leaf ceilings. So it doesn't really fit in a box, but that's the gist of it, really.
I found you because we've got one of my friends I used to go to school with, so I've known her for a ridiculous amount of years, Mel. She spoke about you on her Instagram, but I also knew about you before that because of Joanne Hardcastle, with the copper leaf stairs that she did, that she was inspired by you doing. And she supported me when right back in the day when I was first starting out on Instagram with Vivid Wire, and I made her something in copper in words that have gone next to the stairs that were inspired by you. So I knew about
Yeah,
you.
I've seen
So
them.
actually, when I said I was following you like 18 months ago, it's not. It's like 3 years then.
Oh, maybe it was, gosh.
Yeah, because that's when she did the stairs, like over 3 years ago. It was just before COVID. She did. Joe did those stairs.
Oh God, that's scary to think
Yeah,
about,
I
but
know,
yeah,
isn't
that must
it?
be.
Crazy. So I've known about you for ages and just been really inspired by your from my point of view, how I view it is that your bravery and the scope of like the scale of some of the stuff that you've done. Um because I can't fathom some of the bits that you've done are so massive. I can't fathom it. Like it blows my mind. So that's where I think I'm just in awe of you a little bit. But I'm so interested to know like how it all began. Like, what's the business love story?
God, I mean, it's not been that, oh, well, you say 3 years ago that you first saw me. It's about that long that I've been doing stuff, really,
Yeah.
which doesn't feel that long considering where it's like come to now. But I suppose, well, initially it was when I moved to the house I'm in now, when I started sort of having a bit more fun with interior projects and sort of showing my style. Um, but the first thing I actually sort of started selling, I don't know if you remember, like the chunky knit blankets, like arm knitting. I
No
got like
way.
yeah, I know it's ridiculous. I've deleted all those posts now, like archived them all. But yeah, I like got into that as a hobby thing and was like, I'm gonna try and make a bit of money. Um, but then it fast took over like my house stuff rather than that sort of thing. The first sort of like businessy side where I started to like think, oh, maybe I should like start this as a proper business was when I was trying to update my kitchen. Because I really wanted to get like cool brass worktops, looking at like DeVol kitchens that I absolutely can't afford.
Mm.
Um, and managed to find like a fabricating place that does like brass plating. Um, and they totally cocked up my order, sent me stainless steel. A huge big thing that happened with them, but I ended up being like, so I'm gonna play around, order some gold leaf, see what I can do. And ended up like using imitation gold leaf and resin on my worktops. And that was like my first not viral thing by any means, but like it was huge for me at the time. I was like, oh my God, this post has had like a few hundred likes. I'm nobody. What is this? And people asking like, how much is that? Where do you get it done? Can you do it? And that sort of like, oh, fake it till I make it. Sure, why not? And just going from there, really.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, and like so you had those worktops. They were you go gold leaf and then you just resins over the top, and then all
Yeah,
of the and that's progressed into like you did a massive table recently, like it was huge table, wasn't it? Is
yeah,
that a workshop that you did that in? The big
yeah. I did have a workshop for I think it was nearly 2 years, but I actually gave it up a few months ago because the lovely landlord decided to basically double the rent.
of
And
course, yeah.
because I am sort of doing more murals and artwork things now, I don't need the big workshop to do giant tables because I'm not really doing them as much.
Mm.
I've got my garage at home that I can do like one sort of commission at a time in there, which is fine because that's what I'm sort of happy with doing. But yeah, sort of like I suppose rolling with the business, really knowing when to make those judgments. It felt like a bit of a failure giving up the workshop, but it really didn't make sense to keep it on like at that point. And I feel a lot less stressed not having it now, thinking like I need to make enough money from stuff that I'm doing in the workshop to justify the cost. Now it's not there
Yeah.
anymore, so I don't have that. additional overhead.
It's scary when you're a business owner and you're thinking like sometimes the energy isn't just right in an area, and it's quite scary to get rid of it, because you think, but what if, you know, you did get a great big commission, then you wouldn't be able to fit it anywhere else, or like, you know, but then when you actually cut it out, that energy's gone, and then you're like, oh, I've got loads more energy to like focus on other things.
Yeah, that was exactly it. Yeah, no, it was a huge like shift, but exactly the right thing to do for me.
Oh mate, so what did you do before all of this, like before even the knitted blankets?
um, I mean, straight from school, I did like A levels and did art, but never went to uni because it just felt like I'm not going to get a good paying job straight away from doing art at uni. Sort of looking into it more. So I went working in retail, worked at my local pets at home, ended up a manager, and well, I was just there the whole time. And luckily, when I was able to like start making some money from the business, I could cut down my hours there gradually rather than having to do like the big jump and like the really scary thing. I managed to like straddle it, which was horribly exhausting, basically working 7 days a week for months and months while it was establishing itself. But I'm lucky to have that because I don't think I would have had the like walls to jump into it.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary shit.
It
It's
is.
scary shit. But let's say working in retail and then becoming, because it's such a, I suppose for you, like it's just a totally massively different world to be then like working in pets at home and then be on interior design masters and have all of this viral stuff on Instagram. It's like completely worlds away from each other. Was that
Yeah,
like,
like
is that hard to, or how does that work in your mindset? Because I went from teaching to gradually, I mean, I'm not even viral or anything like that, so it's quite easy for me. I haven't been, you know, I'm just on Instagram. But for you, how did you, was it something that you had to cope with, or it was just like, shit, this is actually happening?
yeah, I mean, the whole time, even still now, things just keep blindsiding me. Like, oh my God, what is this? Like, why me? What? So it's not, I don't think it's something that I'll get used to. Like, the imposter syndrome is real.
Yeah. I'm doing I'm a course on imposter syndrome soon, actually, for my other business, because I
Oh my
haven't I
God.
know all about self-belief and imposter syndrome and how like you can get rid of it. Well, not get rid of it, but dim it down, because it's
I was gonna say, yeah, I think it like not helps me, but that fear of it going wrong and not being good enough is kind of what spurs me on to be like, right, what's the next level to make sure I don't fail because I'm an imposter. That sounds really
yeah.
unhealthy, but I sort of use it in a good way, I guess.
Yeah, because then it makes you better at the job that you're doing, because you're like, oh, I'm doubting myself because that's not right, but then you work on it because you want it to be better.
Yeah, I mean, if you think you're like the best person at it, you're well, you're going to trip yourself up, really, aren't you? If you're like, I'm great,
Absolutely.
I don't need to try.
Yeah, complacency. It's not,
Yeah,
it's
that's the
not
word.
good. It's not good. I did this big piece for a hotel in Switzerland for The Wire, and it was like 5 meters by 1.5 meters, and I had to ship the thing and do it in sections. And the imposter syndrome was almost crippling, because I was like, I was literally just in my tiny workspace doing it and having to map it all out. And this is why I feel like when you do your big pieces, I understand like the scale of how to, and I've only done it once, but it was hard work. But when I broke it down, the imposter syndrome was so crippling that I thought I was literally like, I couldn't do it. I was like paralyzed by it. And then working out, well, why do I feel like that about certain parts of it, made me then, I turned it into questions to then go, oh, okay, I feel like that, so therefore I need to improve that bit. And I ended up creating a better piece of work. And actually some of the format of it and how I got it to Switzerland made me a better wire artist in all the other ways, because I could go, oh, well, when I've got a big piece like that, and now I'm not scared to make something, you know, really big, because you can't get much bigger than 5 meters long. You know what I mean?
You're pushing it there. Yeah, no, it's one of the
Yeah.
things where like if it's well with a big thing, a mistake will be a big mistake as well. But you either it goes well and you're like, cool, it worked and I know what I'm doing, or it might go wrong and that's where you need to like resolve it and know what to do for next time so it's not a worry anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So next time, then you're like, oh, but then something else will come, and you'll be like, well,
I mean, yeah, there's always something else.
yeah. So how, like, when you're doing these massive, I was thinking as well, like that most recent one of the doors, and then behind it is like an extra room or something, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's like a little home bar that they had. Well, I say little, it was like a huge room behind those doors. Um, yeah, they've got like a bar and like not record studio, what's the word? Where they've got like a record player and stuff behind there. It's really cool.
Like, you must see the most amazing places to work in.
Yeah, I'm like, why am I allowed here? I should be kicked out.
It's like phenomenal. And it came from, you scaled up like a smaller picture, didn't you, for that one? Was it?
Yeah, because that one was like quite abstract, which isn't a huge amount of what I do really. I did like a draft piece that was obviously a lot smaller to give them something to like approve. Because normally I'll just do like a pencil sketch of like the thing if it's natural, like drawing or painting of something not abstract. But yeah, with the more abstract things, I had to test out what I was going to do because it is just like slap some of this here, or do I like the shape of it? Move like adjusting it constantly to at least have some plan. Because yeah, when you scale it up, sometimes the like proportions won't work in the
Yeah.
space as well. It's like it's one of the things you do have to just like wing it, which sounds really
Yeah.
bad, but it's having the like skill and practice of like being like that bit's wrong, I'll change it. That I think is something I've got good at. I don't want to like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you can't. No, yeah, shout about it. You're good at it. And when you did your so on the interior design masters, the first, like with Siobhan, and you did
yeah.
the cranes. I actually read an article about you talking about that. And when and I watched it again, I had to like remind myself, because I think back then, I don't know if I knew you well, because it was like, what, yeah, I suppose a couple of years ago I must have been following you, but not like put two and two together. But anyway, when you were doing the cranes in the article, you said like the scale of it, drawing from the small sketch to the big sketch under such pressure. Because I mean, normally you're just pottering away, but there is no like calmness on the final of interior design masters, is
Oh,
there?
that's an understatement. Yeah, like that was the first time I'd done anything to do with TV as well. So like, firstly, there's loads of waiting around before you can start doing anything. So I'm like quietly hyperventilating in the corner because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh my
But
god.
yeah, I've got the sketch that I've done, and with that one, I used a grid to scale it up to not save time because it takes ages to draw the grid, but to sort of as a safety net of like everything's
Yeah.
going to be in the right place because you can't mess up a grid that much. A lot of things are like freehand stuff, but if it's something with a lot of detail, like those birds and the placement of them, um, having the grid there like really helped me like not panic too much. I still panicked quite a lot, but the timing and stuff, because I never know how long things are going to take. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like for most jobs, I'll give myself 2 or 3 days perhaps for mural things, but sometimes I get it done really quickly, and other times I'm like rushing and like perhaps need to add an extra day onto things. But then when you've got cameras in your face and they're like telling you to stop every like hour because they need to like film something and you'll be in the way, or even like because I was working quite quickly on it because I was like panic rush do it as quick as I can because I don't know if I'll get it done. The producers are like, we need you to like stop doing that and leave some of it because I suppose inside secret they only have Alan for like the last day of the 3 days of filming, so you have to leave a
Oh,
load of stuff unfinished so that they can do day one filming with him, and then you can finish stuff, and then the end of the day
oh
he does like the next day
really?
filming. Yeah, so I mean all of TV is fake. Yeah,
Oh wow. So
that was quite stressful.
you just wanted to get on with it, and then you're just having to leave stuff unfinished so that they could do that part of the filming.
Yeah, literally is. I was just sat there like "Ah."
Oh my god, that's so stressful, but obviously amazing, but stressful
All
in
worked out,
amazing.
yeah.
And how did that come about, that job?
I mean, I only knew Siobhan from, well, met through Instagram, and it wasn't that long before that, perhaps like a year or 6 months. I'd done a gold leaf ceiling in her dressing room in her house, um, and hadn't really like chatted that much since. And then because they only get like a week to plan their schemes, I just get like a message from her like, "Are you free next week? Because then I'm through to the final of Interior Design Masters, and I wanted to do something on it." So it's like, okay, I'll cancel everything and be there.
Wow. Oh my god. And you literally
No.
just dropped everything. Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
yeah. I think I had to get like cover at work and was literally like, I'm not going to be here, so you need to sort something out. But
Wow.
no, that was a that was another thing that like really pivoted with my business, I suppose, because I think that was like the second mural that I'd done. Like her, the crane mural for Siobhan on Interior Design Masters was inspired by one that I'd done for one of my friends, Leanne. Hers was like more designed on the Gucci crane wallpaper,
Oh yeah,
um,
yeah.
but but she wanted the gold sun with it, which is one of those like iconic things that goes with like the birds, like in a sort of traditional sense. So we reworked it and did them in like my own style rather than the Gucci style for Siobhan's one to fit the space. But after that and after that aired, I did like some prints for it, which I'd not done many art prints before. So I only got a few because it's like money to lay out. And I think I think it was like a Saturday, so I had a lot of like work at my retail job and I put them live and like done my little post for them and looked at my phone like on my lunch break and it was like all sold out. And I was like, crap, I need to order more. I'll mark them as like in stock again. And like that was my first thing that like really hit. And then from then I was getting like mural inquiries and I kind of just like the tables and worktops and stuff kind of like took a back seat and it was all like artwork based, which I really enjoy because it's a lot more creative than making loads of gold rectangles.
Yeah, I bet. But then you do like it's in Siobhan's as well when you've done the floor, the resin floor with the sun rays coming out and the
Yeah,
marble. God, I mean, that's pretty special, isn't it? That floor.
that was fun. I mean, like, because for the resin stuff on my worktops when I was first doing that, I found like a local resin flooring course, just like some local guys that did their own thing, just to like learn how to not kill myself with the resin because it can be quite dangerous.
Yeah.
Um, so I did my worktops, but in that course they taught us about flooring mostly. So I think it was the first lockdown. That was like my first like I have nothing to do, let's make my bathroom ridiculous, where like I did gilding on all the tiles in the shower. So I've got my golden shower and my marble resin floor that I did in there, which I think was my first like viral thing because everyone was at home on their phones, so
Yeah.
people were looking at stuff more anyway. But like that got hundreds of thousands of views. I think on TikTok it got like a couple million as well.
Oh,
It
amazing.
was just like, what's going on? But I mean, the resin floors, I've done a few of those, and Siobhan's one was sort of not based on that, but she knows I can do them, so why not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the thing with your bathroom, and I've seen that photo of you with your cat. What's your cat's name?
Oh, Lord Mittens.
Oh, I like, do you know though, that I feel like when our pets are like featured on the Instagram part of the business, like I've got my Skylar and Khaleesi and they're always on Instagram somewhere. But anyway, when you got your gold tiles, like how is it resin coated then? Because the water's going to get into it, isn't it? Obviously it doesn't,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? Like I don't, when I look, I'm thinking, how does that work?
I mean, it was a total experiment, to be fair. It's not resin that I did on them because that would just like run down the wall. You need
Oh yeah,
like
of course it
a
was. Of
flat surface.
course it was.
Yeah. But so I had to use like all oil-based products for the gilding and the varnishing because of the water side of things. And I think I did like 4 coats of varnish in the end because I was like, this cannot get ruined. And it's still going strong. So now the varnish is like all properly hardened because it was really thick. Um, you can literally scratch at it with your fingers, and not that you would in the shower, but it's on there. Yeah, it's staying.
Amazing. I love it. It's just like it is kind of would gold leaf go on this, and then you
Literally, if
try
it
it
stays
out.
still, I'm like, I'm gonna stick something on you.
I love it. And how did you start using? Obviously, oh, you used the like it was just literally for your tabletops. Had you used kitchen tops? Had you used gold leaf before that?
No, not at all. Literally, I a little set of stuff off eBay. Um, Played around on just like a spare bit of NDF that I got or something, just like seeing what sticks and what I liked, and then just got stuck in. It's one of the things like it's my house. If I mess it up, I don't really care.
I feel intimidated by it. I've got really into. I'm a really late comer to decorating. It used to be sort of like make me heave because I was so bad at it, and then now I've realised like it's the only time that my mind switches off when I'm trying to, paint without masking tape. When I'm trying to cut in and just keep my hands to it's like literally the only time that my brain isn't thinking. So I feel like feel a bit excited or maybe a bit brave to try it, but I feel so intimidated by, I don't know whether it maybe because it's gold and I think, oh, what a waste. What if I get it wrong? I don't know.
Well,
It's just,
as in like just using it in your house. Imitation gold
yeah.
leaf, if you get like the rubbish stuff that's like made in China, loose leaf, you can get on eBay. It's like £5 or £7 a pack of 100 sheets. Like
Oh,
it's
okay.
really quite inexpensive. It's only when you're using like, well, real gold is made very expensive, and like transfer gold, which is like you can be a lot more precise with. That's when it like racks up, and you will like waste a lot of money if you mess it up. Um, but no, other than that, I mean, experiment with an old side table that you've got something if you're that worried. Like, just
Yeah.
go for
I
it.
might do. I feel like it's just, yeah, I feel intimidated by it, but then think I should face the fear and just do it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's gold leaf. I mean, to the point where I'm trying to push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit. I looked at like doing a flying lesson today. So I feel right now more intimidated by doing gold leaf than flying an aeroplane. That's ridiculous.
That's not
I've
right.
just told myself I'm literally going to buy a gold leaf as soon as we finish this and practice it. I've just realised how stupid that sounds. It's hilarious. Okay. I just had another question in my head then, and it's just gone about what was it about? No, it's gone. Gold leaf, aeroplanes. What were we just talking about? It's getting really
I'm
hot.
scared of
It's melting today, and I've had to turn my fan off, obviously, because oh, I know.
that.
I just remembered. It's looking at your background now with the painting. Is that part of the room where you did the aha like black and white?
Yeah, this is my like it's one of the spare bedrooms, but I painted it black and white, and it's like my little art studio. And yeah, it's still like totally black and white. I mean, I've got plants everywhere and loads of junk. But when I tidy it up, it's really trippy. But yeah, that's the one where I painted myself again, a lockdown one where I had nothing better to do, so I decided to paint my body. Um,
I just like everyone is listening. It's one of I think it's one of your top posts
it's
on
probably they're
the
like, what the hell?
Instagram. But it does trip you out because you're looking at it like so you are the thing that I can't get around my head with it though is the fact that it's stop motion. So you must have painted a bit, took a picture, painted a bit, took a picture.
Literally, yeah, I didn't even have a Bluetooth like shutter button at that point because I really like I was using my like £10 eBay tripod and like nothing, literally like because I was only just like starting to do Instagram stuff properly. But yeah, literally, I had masking tape points on the had my tub of paint like out of shot and my phone on like timer, so I'd like paint a few inches of like my trousers, hobble over to my phone, push the shutter button, hobble back, quickly get in position, let it take the picture, another little bit, and literally did that for like a few hours, and then started panicking because the light started going, and I was like, ah! Have I got it done?
Honestly, it blows my mind like the commitment to that project is out of this world. But I
Honestly,
think that's what COVID did to us, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, commitment to the level that I literally was just using like emulsion paint on me because I had it and it's cheap. But it obviously dries, and I could get the trousers off fine, but I had to cut the shirt off of myself because I couldn't get out of it. Dried and like partly stuck to my skin as well, which probably isn't very good. But yeah, I've still got it. But yeah, I had to cut the back down the back of it to get out of it.
Oh my God. It's correct. Like honestly, that is massive commitment. It's like everyone's just got to go and watch that video because it blows your mind. And in the caption, I think you go like, no, honestly, this is not a filter. Like,
Oh
but
God, the amount of people that would comment a message and be like, "Oh my God, what app did you use for this? What filter is this?" I'm like, I'm in that case, I'm painting myself. Sorry, can't help you.
I'm sorry, I cannot help you create this. You've got to literally do it yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So big projects coming up. The big one coming, isn't there? What are you working on?
Oh, a big stressful one. Yeah. I suppose it's like my biggest financial outlay, which is the thing that stresses me the most.
Yeah.
Um, my wallpaper collection hopefully coming soon. I've been sampling it for like nearly a year probably at this point, but it's such like a whole industry that I have no experience in, so it's really hard to know anything. I mean, any business that you start is kind of like in the dark. But yeah, really excited because it's nearly ready. Like one more run of samples. They're all going to be on like a special foil paper, which is one that one is really expensive, so people don't really use it, which is unspecial. Uh, but I also like them using a factory supplier that is like the only place in the UK that has like white ink printing. So like on the foil paper, you can block out areas to be opaque and then have other like the background metallic still. So one of
Oh,
my designs is with a sort of William Morris inspired, where it's got all like the leaves, the acanthus leaves, that I've painted and photographed and like scanned in. And then the background sort of has the subtle squares of gilding and like the metallic gold and the copper version as well. And I'm really excited because I'm hopefully going to plan like launch events, which is also terrifying, like doing one in London and then one up in Leeds. It's all like all the Instagram friends really that like I want to sort of get involved, and obviously it's great marketing as well because hopefully they will help me by like showing their audiences it, because I'm scared that I'll sell none, but I'm putting it in my head that like it's one of the things where it won't sell loads straight away and I've got to build up the collection and like paint more designs and sort of establish it. But if it does sell really well initially, amazing, and I can like quit my job and just sell wallpaper.
I really, I can't see why people aren't going to buy it. Like, it's good.
I mean,
People
it's going
just,
to be an expensive one, which is like annoying to be pricing in that like level, but like the cost price of it is so much. Like the cost price per roll is over £100.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like it has to be, it is a thing, but it's still cheaper than hiring me or someone else gild a ceiling or wall. It's like a cheaper alternative for that as well, which I think is missing in the market. I've not seen it anyway. Hopefully it goes well. Fingers crossed.
I'm sure it will. And I think it is, I know a lot of the time for artists, it is, and for any business owners, at the moment with the cost of living, etc., it is quite difficult. But I find that people are just more careful with what they spend their money on. And I think when you've got a budget and you're like, right, I'm going to spend £500, like minimum £500 on a room, but you know that you're going to spend a few £100s on the wallpaper, and literally you don't have to do anything else, and you just have like one wall, and then you just bring the
Yeah,
colours out into accents around the room. Sounds like a bargain. Like it's people, I feel like, or imagine if it was on your ceiling. Like,
exactly. I mean, hanging wallpaper on the ceiling is awful, but I mean, it's possible.
yeah,
People do it quite a lot now. It's like, I mean, wallpaper's got quite trendy, I think, or just at least like more like it's not as scary. Like I don't
yeah,
know, yeah, like I never used to see much of it, but people are really like, damn, wallpaper, pattern, colors. I'm like just being braver with their interiors, really, because they're seeing examples of real people doing it as well. Like
yeah,
again, through social media, like the influencers or like a horrible word, but like the people you follow that are DIYing things, you're like, maybe I could do that. So it is
yeah,
sort of opening up a lot of things to people, which is really nice.
yeah, yeah. And also not having to fit inside of that. Like, it is your personality, and like you say, like, and with shows like Interior Design Masters and watching those influencers, like, I'm so inspired by it. We've got like we're decorating at the moment, and I love doing everything by budget as well, and that was inspired by Mel, like Little Terraced House,
Yeah.
where she did her whole kitchen for like £200 or something, and she did all of the doors herself, and I thought, well, if she can do it, I can do it, definitely, 100%. So I started doing it, and we had this budget of £200, and I managed to do the whole kitchen, because, and obviously it took ages because we were refurbing and I had loads of doors to do and stuff, but actually when you sit back and think, God, I do that all myself. And then now we've got like a utility outside toilet kind of thing, not like an old Victorian outside toilet, but like it's part of the house, but it's not part of the house. But where my office is at the bottom of the garden, I always use that bathroom. So I was like, let's just go crazy. It's like the small space, we can do whatever we want. So we've done it. I think our budget for that is like £100, might even be less than that. So my husband's on FaceBay getting old taps and like old like no, not old toilet seats. We're getting a new toilet
Used
seat.
toilet seat.
But I really like the idea of like some neon pinks. We've gone for like pinks and neons, but then black and white. And he found all of the tiles on Facebook Marketplace for like really cheap. And we've got like black chalkboard walls, and then we're gonna have neon chalk pens, so when people go in there, because we've got a pub in the bottom of the garden as well, they can just write
Oh,
all over
fun.
the walls. And we've got like loads of stickers, like Banksy stickers. It's just going to be covered, and it's like, who cares? And my mother-in-law said, oh, you don't want it to be too busy. As soon as I said neon pink, I don't want it to be too busy. I was like, no, that's what it is. we want it to be the busiest room that you can think of.
Yeah, I mean, it is great. Like the other thing I think that changed is like the mentality of people. One, if you're going to be in your house for a long time, like people aren't moving as much, enjoy the space. There's a lot of rental friendly things you can do as well. But also, like if you are like people are like, oh, you struggle to sell your house with it looking like that with all the stuff I've done. It's really not that hard to paint everything back white if you really need to.
Yeah.
Like paint isn't that expensive if you're just getting like regular paint.
Yeah.
So do it like
Yeah, but if you're going to fall in love with someone, like you say, like why do you want to live in a house for 10 years that you might like all of those 10 years and then you not going to change it because you might not sell it at the end of 10 years or 5 years or whatever. You just want to enjoy the space while you're in it.
yeah, it's so boring to like think like that. But there's still lots of
Yeah.
people. I mean, like the troll comments online are savage sometimes, which is they're just like go back, I really don't care. Like you're not my customer or anyone that I interact with, so I have no value in your opinion, which I know it can affect people quite a lot, but I really don't give an F.
I've never had a troll comment. I feel like I've not made it yet. Just
Oh
looking
yeah, you need
at,
to go viral with something and get some haters, and then you've made it.
yeah. So have you had a lot of those kinds of comments then?
I really have, but Facebook and TikTok is just like I thought your videos get sent out to like a lot of people that don't follow you a lot more than it
Right.
does on Instagram. So it's likely to get shown to the people that are like, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
Like people love to tell me that everything I do is tacky because it's gold. Gold is for gypsies. I'm Trump. Like
Oh my
it's really
God.
funny, honestly.
I have never associated you with Donald Trump, but now you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's just like Trump Towers. I would never ever have associated it. But yeah, I mean, it's just worlds apart, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Oh, it's just funny though.
It is funny, yeah. But you've got a good attitude with it. That's
Thank you.
good.
Yeah, no, I try with that.
Yeah. And so the wallpapers, when do you think the wallpaper's going to be ready then?
Um, I mean, that's a good question. Really, I want to get all like the photography done and like get some actual rooms done with it because one of the other things with wallpaper, like obviously comparing to other, well, competitors and friends that do wallpaper, lots of people Photoshop like wallpaper into like pictures of rooms because you can do that with like normal pattern wallpaper. But like with metallic wallpaper, you can't like it has griffins and stuff that need to be shown. It's like I need real rooms basically to do it in, so that's going to take a little while. But hopefully by the end of summer, I'll be like get everything launched. I feel like that's a good time. Like I don't want to push it into winter because no one will really care about anything in winter. I feel like everyone gets bored and doesn't want to do DIY anymore or anything like that.
Oh, it's so exciting. I was like, how did you like? Did you just find a manufacturer and just had you always had this idea of doing the wallpaper?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds a bit, I don't know if it's selfish or lazy or what, but my thing was like, I need something that's more passive because all the projects that I do are so time intensive and just
Mm,
exhausting physically, like for my body and my brain, that I can't do this without either having to like double my prices and it just starts to feel a bit icky to me personally, or I need something else that I can still like design and do, but I don't have to physically do every single one of it.
yeah,
Um, so like wallpaper was a natural progression. Then I can do like fabrics as well. Hopefully, I've got like a local place to me that's made like my leaf cushions. I don't know if you've seen that I did some paintings of leaves,
yeah, I
and they've
did,
made them
yeah,
into these really nice velvet quilted cushions. Um, but they can print like anything for me, so hopefully do some stuff with that as well. I just want to like have fun and be able to be more creative on my terms because again, like doing commissions for everything, you are doing it to a customer's brief. You can't. I mean, sometimes people do whatever you want. I love everything you do, but sometimes people are really nitpicky, and it's really like, ugh, I'm not enjoying this because it's not what I wanted to do, not my vision of it. A bit
yeah.
more freedom with like being able to start doing more paintings of stuff that I can turn into wallpapers and prints and things. It's a really exciting thought. So hopefully it works.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm really I can't wait to see it. Like I just think that it's those kinds of investments. If I was doing my front, do you know what? My front room is up for decorations, so maybe I can persuade my husband. Like, well, to be fair, I get all of the freedom now. It used to be that we had to negotiate, but now he understands I'm really good at like designing the stuff. I'm just not as good as doing the stuff. He's more in charge of that bit. But I'll be like, look at this wallpaper. Isn't it amazing? I mean, imagine if we had that, it would be so cool. And then I might just buy it.
No, honestly, like I'm in the process of like scoping out people with rooms that I can basically use to photograph and do stuff in. So send me pictures of rooms you have in mind, and I might be able to work something out. Like I'm
Oh,
like
that sounds
just
cool.
totally scatterbrained with all of it, but like I'm really hoping that I can get like at least one of each wallpaper in rooms of like friends that I've made online, like without having to fork out loads for like studio spaces and then ripping it all down, which feels like a huge waste. At least someone can enjoy it and keep it.
That sounds really
Yeah,
cool.
honestly, send me some pictures of your rooms. That would be fun.
Oh yeah, I will. There's like in my front room, we've got like this really like deep like it's like a royal purple, you know, like the darkest kind of purple, but we've got it like on a couple of walls, so it's all like really bits quite moody in there, but not too moody. So I think it'd be like that's and it's a nice light in there in the sunshine in the morning. The light is insane. It's so good. And we've already got copper stuff in there as well.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Right, we'll chat then. So to work. Oh, I almost forgot to ask you the very important question that I ask everybody. If you no, I always get this wrong as well. I'm all over the place today. Right. What do you know now that you wish you'd known 10 years ago?
I mean, 10 years ago, I'd have been 18, fresh out of school. I mean, I'd probably say just like get anything out there, like basically just start as soon as possible. Like the thing that held me back for ages was like, oh, I'll practice some more, I'll wait until things are better before I show anyone. Like just start doing something, even if it's not going to be what you end up doing. Like, for example, the knitted blankets, like totally not what I'm doing now, but it's just like just do something, and then that sets you on the path where you might then discover this other thing that is the right thing. But you need to like just take that first step as soon as possible. It doesn't have to cost you money, because I mean I started with just like buying bits of furniture from like second-hand shops and stuff, and like painting them, practicing stuff like that. Yeah, just do something, even if you know it's not going to be the thing. Just do something, get it started.
Get it started. Yeah, I love that. Like, you know what? There's a quote about this, isn't it? You're not great. You can't be great unless you start until you. What is it? You know, you don't have to be great when you start, but you have to start to be great. Zig Ziglar.
Yeah, that's probably a lot more concise way of my ramble here.
But I mean, I probably even said it wrong, but he's a bit of a genius. I don't even think he's around anymore, but that kind of thing. I always think like we have this idea that we have to, like you say, have to be perfect, but perfection doesn't even exist. We're all perfectly imperfect, aren't we? And so is everybody's work all the time.
Yeah, when like, well, comparison is like a dangerous thing, but also you can learn a lot from it. 99% of the time, I'm sure those other people feel the same as like us, where we're like still kind of winging it. Like you just have to do it. Like it's like I've got another meaningful quote. Or was it? You don't have to see the whole staircase, just the first step. Like just get going.
Yeah, and you'll never feel ready either. No one ever feels ready when they get started. You just, like you say, you just got to like, oh, maybe one day. I don't think anybody's ever ready to run a business. Like it always feels. I was thinking this the other day as well, like imposter syndrome for people that are on Instagram and running their own business. I believe is so loud because you're basically going for an interview every single day for a job that you've already got, but you don't realize, your subconscious doesn't realize that because you're just constantly putting your stuff out there. So like, you're basically going for an interview every day to check that you're okay for a job that you are already doing but doesn't technically exist because you're creating the job. Like what a mess up. No wonder everyone's got imposter syndrome.
No, I've never thought of that, but I will now. Thank you.
Yeah. And I've got this other thing as well, just like this, I'll end it here, but about the fact that if you believe that failure doesn't exist, because if you only think that you're winning or you're learning, then failure doesn't exist. Therefore, what are you going to do more of if failure doesn't exist, if you're only going to learn from it?
Yeah, no, if you've got that fear of failure, yeah, that's a good way to think of it.
Yeah. It blew my mum the other day. So I was speaking to my father-in-law about it, and I was like, but I literally am going for an interview every day. Oh my God, I'm literally going for an interview every day. That's why it feels so scary all the time. Because you're just like, oh, I'm going to get the job or not get the job. But that's why we're so anyway. Oh, very deep. But I feel like sometimes
Yeah,
I need to think about these things, to give me comfort that it's okay to feel these things.
yeah, no, I could go on like huge rants about like social media. Oh my God, my desk is moving. Sorry. I accidentally pushed one of the buttons on my desk and it was like started going down. I could go on like huge rants about Instagram and how it's like good and bad, like, but that's a whole can of worms.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I have to, like, I definitely could as well. I think it's such, like, I did my first business when Instagram didn't exist, and it didn't feel as scary sometimes because I was just taking my wares up and down high street. It's just like, sale and return. Will you please stock my stuff? But it felt like less threatening, even though it was scary. But Instagram, you're basing it on, because somebody just go, oh no, thank you so much, but I'm not sure. But then if you put something out there and it doesn't get the likes, or it doesn't get the views, then you're comparing somebody that's got loads of views, you're comparing them in against something that doesn't. What are you comparing it to? And then you feel crap because your brain has compared it to something that doesn't even exist. Blows my mind. It's just
Yeah.
basically absolute mind fuck, like the whole thing.
Literally, yeah.
But it's got us where we are today, so thank the Lord.
Literally, yeah. Like we've got the good side of it at least a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Dan. I'm just going to say, like, I have been all over the place in this interview. I feel like I've not done this justice, and I can imagine some of my friends going, like, you really were a little bit nervous about that one, weren't you? So,
Oh my God, no way.
no, honestly, I was, because I was like, I just got a lot of respect for you. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, where can people find you?
Um, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all bland_design, and my website, bland-design. Basically, if you just Google bland design, I actually come up on Google, which is nice.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you so much, Daniel. I really appreciate it. Well, we'll do our fake goodbye now.
Oh, lovely.
See you later, Daniel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.